Hi, everyone, and thanks for attending our general career session. My name is Bethany Saunders, and I am one of the admissions and recruitment officers at Dalhousie University. So we'll get started. I'm just going to share my screen here. So just give me a second. All right, awesome. Hopefully everyone can see that. If you do have any technical issues, please feel free just to put that in the chat. If you have any questions, we can have those dropped in the Q&A section, and we will hopefully have time at the end of the presentation to get to those. And of course, the session is being recorded. So if you do have any questions, or you want to go back and watch the session again, you can see it in the on-demand section, and you'll have access to that for the next 30 days. If we don't get to your question, of course, feel free to visit us in the admissions booth, or you can even go to the graduate admissions or graduate studies booth to get more information as well. So in today's session, we're going to talk a little bit about the value of a university degree, as well as career opportunities by faculty, and then of course, planning for professional and graduate programs. So we'll just be showing some general information with you folks today. And then of course, if you have questions, happy to address those as well. So when you're thinking about further study after high school, one of the things to consider, of course, is university versus college. And for university, there's really lots to consider when you're thinking about the value of a university degree. In fact, university degrees are great preparation for the workforce or further study. Recent studies have shown that university degrees are not only viable, but are also the surest path to prosperity. In fact, university graduates will earn $1.4 million more than their high school counterparts during their career. And this high income advantage is actually shared by arts graduates as well. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about studying arts. Of course, the value in a university degree can come from the career outcomes and the salary expectations, but there's also personal transformation that can happen through a university degree. You have an expanded work network. There's work integrated learning that can happen through your degree. There's interdisciplinary study, of course, as well, and global experiences. And these are just some of the ways in which you get a value from a university degree. In addition to those things, which are highly valuable, there's also transferable skills that students can develop throughout their degree. So not only the specific skills that you're developing based on your degree, but also skills that you can carry over into a number of different aspects of your career. Things like critical thinking, creative problem solving, written and verbal communication skills, innovation, and international perspective, as well as interpersonal skills. So things like intercultural competency and adaptability, for example. So these are just some of the components of a university degree and the value that a university degree can add to your life and to your career. So now let's explore some career opportunities by faculty at Dalhousie. If you are hands-on, innovative, and determined, then you might be interested in the faculty of agriculture and some of the career opportunities available there. Our Faculty of Agriculture is located on our Truro campus, which is an hour from Halifax, and it's home to a working farm and almost 1,000 acres of research fields, gardens, and greenhouses, which provide lots of opportunities for hands-on learning. It's also the only on-site teaching farm in Canada, so that's something to consider as well. But you might be thinking, I don't want to be a farmer. Why would I be looking at agriculture? Well, agriculture may be more than you realize. Studying in this faculty and then going on to work in this faculty, especially if you're doing anything like research, can lead to careers that address some of the world's most pressing issues, like food security, environmental and climate challenges, sustainability, waste management, and much more. Our Faculty of Agriculture offers lots of programs. So if you do want to be a farmer, we obviously have training for that. But there's also some unique programs that you might not think of, like international food business, integrated environmental management, bioveterinary science, and landscape architecture, as well, of course, as some of the other programs that we have listed on the screen. If you're interested in learning more about agriculture and especially working with animals, we will have a Working with Animals session at 2 p.m. today, 2 p.m. Atlantic today. So make sure to check that out. So What can you do with a Faculty of Agriculture degree? Well, here are some options, and there's a lot. So like I mentioned, some of the things you might think of, like a dairy farmer or certified arborist, maybe even thinking about energy efficiency or renewable energy advisor. But then of course, there's also things like being a garden designer or working in government policy as an analyst, or even in the private sector as an analyst, financial advisor or credit advisor. Things like being a golf course manager. There's literally so many different options for you. This isn't a comprehensive list, but it does hopefully give you a sense of some of the career opportunities awaiting you if you're looking at doing a Faculty of Agriculture degree. If you are creative, organized, and practical, then you might be interested in a career in architecture or planning. At Dalhousie, our Faculty of Architecture and Planning is actually comprised of the School of Architecture and the School of Planning. For the School of Architecture, we have the Bachelor of Environmental Design Studies, or BEDS program, which is our architecture program. It, however, is not a direct entry program from high school. So this isn't something you can apply to if you're applying to Dalhousie directly from high school. If you are interested in BEDS, then you'll need to apply to do a general first 2 years of study before you can apply to the BEDS program. The BEDS program itself is 2 years of study, and then from there you go on and do the Master of Architecture program, which is another additional 2 years of study. So all in all, you're looking at 6 years of study minimum to become an architect. However, through the School of Planning, we actually have a direct entry undergraduate program, and it's called the Bachelor of Community Design, or BCD program. For students that are interested in things like, collaborative work, making an impact in communities, they're interested in lots of hands-on work, and they're interested in being creative and engaging with others, then you might be interested in the Bachelor of Community Design program. The program is actually focused on building sustainable communities based on best practices and community input. It still has that design component to it, like you would see in architecture, but the focus is a little bit different because instead of actually designing buildings, for example, you're designing communities. So you're thinking about things like green spaces, accessibility. You're thinking about the flow of traffic, especially if you're looking at roads. And then of course, sustainability concerns as well. How do you accommodate buses and private cars alongside of pedestrians? So that might be a program that's of interest to you if those sorts of questions keep you up at night. For students who are interested in the Bachelor of Community Design program, there's a couple of options for students, including the honors option, as well as graduate level studies as well. So in terms of future careers, students who complete the Bachelor of Community Design honors program can actually follow the process to become a registered professional planner. And that of course would allow you to become a planner, be working with cities, with city planning or other communities in whatever regard it is that you're interested in. There's also the option to become a Geographic Information System or GIS administrator, a director of community development, or something like a transit planner. Again, this is just a short list to give you a sense of what some of the opportunities are. If you have specific questions about community design or architecture, feel free to visit the virtual booth, the architecture and planning booth in the virtual fair. So if you are passionate, creative, and communicative, then you might be interested in a career in arts and social sciences. At Dalhousie, the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences is home to the Fountain School of Performing Arts, and it's actually considered Dalhousie's largest faculty in terms of departments. Now, don't let that scare you. That doesn't mean that the class sizes are huge. It's actually home to some of the smallest classes, but it does mean that there is a wealth of opportunities for students. And it means that you can combine your interests and passions through this faculty, the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, as well as other faculty. So you can do that through double majors or minors, maybe even their certificate, whatever it might mean to help you create a degree that's really of interest to you and that can help set you on the pathway that you want to move forward on. Most majors within the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, so through the BA program, offer general education and then opportunities for specialization. So like I said, through that major or double major, maybe if you want to do an honors or combined honors, these are great ways to get further specialization in whatever area or areas are of interest to you. There's also opportunities for experiential learning. So students often think, oh, I'm doing an arts degree, I won't be able to actually get that hands-on learning that I want. And that's not true. At Dalhousie, students can incorporate experiential learning opportunities like completing a semester abroad, studying another language, field courses, community service learning placements or projects, apprenticeships, simulations, or creative performances and productions. There's actually the FastX site where you can learn more about those opportunities. And then of course, for students, as you're trying to figure out what do I want to do with this degree, how do I move forward, how do I apply to something like law school, then we have supports like Career on Track to identify strengths, goals, and career outcomes, as well as career advisors. So with an arts degree, there's tons of different things that you can do. You can see here, again, a non-comprehensive list of some of the options for you. And some of them might be things that you imagined, like becoming a lawyer or a professor. But there's also things like social work or education. You could go on to become a teacher, an educator. You could go into urban planning, especially if you're combining that with, environment, sustainability of society. Environmentalist, economist, archivist, ambassador, diplomat. There's so many different options for you depending on what your interests are. And of course, because we have the Fountain School of Performing Arts, there's also the option to go into things like actor or theater, being a director, a playwright, whatever it might be. If you are innovative, solution-oriented, and analytical, then you might be interested in the Faculty of Computer Science. And this is a field that has one of the highest employment rates for recent graduates from universities. So that might be appealing to some of you on the call. In our Faculty of Computer Science, we have two distinct programs. We have the Bachelor of Computer Science as well as the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science. There is some overlap between the two programs. Of course, you're going to be learning about coding and programming, the different technologies that exist in the two programs. But with the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science, it really works as a bridge between business and computer science. And what I mean by that is that it's giving students a healthy dose of management component to the degree so that students can really understand the technology as it exists today, maybe some of the challenges or the issues with those technologies, and how different organizations like companies can apply these technologies as solutions. So you're really bridging that gap between computer science and business. In both programs, students have the opportunity to do co-op. So these are great experiential learning opportunities, but beyond co-op, we also have things like the Shift Key Lab, which is a technology-based sandbox with relentless focus on creativity and innovation, as well as things like hackathons through the different student societies. So one thing that's great to note about the co-op program in the Faculty of Computer Science is that it has a 97% placement rate for the students. So this, of course, is excellent preparation for you if you're looking to move on and get a career in this area, and also helps you to start to grow your network for when you're actually finishing your degree and looking for a job. There are certificates available as well. So if you want to specialize in a specific area like data science or graphics, gaming, and media, then you'd be able to actually incorporate that into either your Bachelor of Science degree or the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science degree. So just another great way to kind of set yourself apart and make sure that you're getting that good foundation in whatever area of specialization you're interested in. For career options, here are some options for both the Bachelor of Computer Science as well as the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science. And as you can see, which is fitting based on the fact that there is some overlap in these two programs, there's some overlap in terms of job opportunities as well, or career outcomes. But there's also some differences as well, which you'll note here. So for example, if you're looking at the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science, then you might be looking at something like a program manager once you graduate. Versus if you're looking at the Bachelor of Computer Science, then something like ocean data analyst could be a good career opportunity for you. Again, not a complete list, but just showing it to you folks to give you a sense. If you are detail-oriented, practical, and creative, then you might be interested in our Faculty of Engineering, potentially becoming an engineer once you graduate. Engineering remains to be a high demand field, and there's lots of different ways for students to specialize through the degree. At Dalhousie University, we offer a Bachelor of Engineering program, but for the first 2 years, the Diploma of Engineering program, students can actually start the degree either in Halifax or at our Truro campus. The rest of the degree, the last 2 years, will all be in Halifax. So it really just depends on what you're looking for in terms of student experience for the engineering program. Students start the program as a general Bachelor of Science student or Bachelor of Engineering, sorry, student, and then they're able to actually select their discipline based off what they're interested in. So this is a selective process that starts in their first year. Students sort of rate their top choices in terms of different disciplines that they've been interested in, and then based off of that ranking, as well as the interest from the students and their GPA, you get selected for a discipline. And you can see the different disciplines offered there. Each discipline offers co-op, so students are able to get that hands-on learning experience throughout their degree. And this can often lead to job offers for students once they've graduated. So again, you're developing that network, you're getting that hands-on learning, and you're also making money while you're completing your degree. These are all great things, great experience as you're thinking about preparing for graduation and moving into the workforce. And then of course, we also have the integrated environmental management program through our Faculty of Agriculture. So if you're interested in that, you can chat with the folks in the Faculty of Agriculture to learn a little bit more. Of course, once you graduate with your engineering degree, then you are ready to complete the professional engineering designation. So this is what you need to be considered a PEng or a professional engineer in Canada. It's the first step. After getting your Bachelor of Engineering, you will need to be admitted as an engineer in training or an EIT by an association of professional engineers in Canada. So once you complete that, and 4 years of suitable work experience, you may be able to apply to become a professional engineer. And that often means that you can have an increase in pay and potentially different job opportunities through that. To get a sense of the different types of careers and opportunities from the Bachelor of Engineering degree, we have a short list of examples here. So some specialization that you can do, like being a pollution control specialist or a robotics engineer, aircraft design engineer. In some cases, you might be wanting to go on and do further education, especially if you're interested in something like biomedical engineering, for example. If you are people-oriented, inquisitive, and empathetic, then you might be interested in a career in the health field, which could be as a nurse, physiotherapist, social worker, or even for future studies to become a doctor, dentist, or pharmacist. Something that I always like to clarify for students when they're looking at the Faculty of Health is that we have a lot of options and there's a lot of different pathways to work in health. If you're looking to be a doctor, dentist, or pharmacist, then you might not actually want to look at the Faculty of Health. Instead, you might want to look at something like the Bachelor of Science or the Faculty of Science, which we'll talk about shortly, because this will actually give you lots of room in your undergraduate degree to not only meet those requirements for dentistry, pharmacy, or medicine, but also allow you to incorporate things like co-op or maybe some time abroad or a lot of the volunteer experience that they look at very heavily. If you're looking to become a nurse, or if you want to be, a radiological tech or an ultrasound tech or something like that, respiratory therapist, then definitely you want to be looking at the Faculty of Health. Also, we offer our Bachelor of Science Kinesiology through the Faculty of Health. So if you're thinking about going on and doing something like physiotherapy, then definitely look at the Faculty of Health. We have distinct programs that you can see listed here on the screen that can help you lead to either a career directly after graduation, or like I said, provide you with the foundation before going on and doing further study. For the Bachelor of Science Nursing, just want to quickly note that there is a difference between direct entry and advanced standing. So this is the length of the program, 2 years for advanced standing versus 3 years for direct entry. But this isn't something you select when you're actually applying to the program. So if you want to know more about this, definitely check out the nursing session that we had earlier today. It would be in the on-demand section, or drop by and talk to folks in the Faculty of Health or in undergraduate admissions to learn more. Most programs are focused on treating illness or reacting to a health issue within the Faculty of Health, but it's also important to learn about preventative healthcare, which is really the focus of the Bachelor of Health Promotion program. Recreation and recreation management are also great options for students who are interested in how recreation and leisure can be used as part of healthcare. So just want to highlight, healthcare isn't just nurses and doctors. There's lots and lots of folks who are a part of your healthcare team. So definitely want to check out those different opportunities. And of course, in terms of careers, there's lots of opportunities. There's also lots of different areas in which you could work. So community health, home health care, hospitals, long-term care, palliative care, and more. If you're organized, charismatic, and analytical, then you might be interested in one of our programs offered through the Faculty of Management. We actually have two distinct programs, one being the Bachelor of Commerce, which has a mandatory co-op as part of its degree. And here are some of the majors that students can actually specialize in if they would like to through the Bachelor of Commerce. Commerce tends to be more focused on things like accounting and financing, marketing, as you can see here, versus the Bachelor of Management, which is our other option through the Faculty of Management. This has an optional internship for students. So if you'd like to get that hands-on learning, that's an option for you as well. And here are some of the majors that students can actually specialize in through the Bachelor of Management. So you'll see there's a bit of a difference, not really the same focus on things like accounting and financing as you would see with the Bachelor of Commerce. The students in the management program do take a couple classes in those areas throughout their degree as well. In terms of future careers or career options, lots of the things that you would expect, like becoming an accountant or an entrepreneur, but also lots of areas in which you can work. So, banking institution, hedge funds or hedge fund administration companies, as well as governments, not-for-profits, and literally almost any organization out there, especially if you're looking at doing something like finance or accounting. And we have the Faculty of Science. So if you are innovative, curious, and communicative, then you might be interested in the Faculty of Science, which can offer lots of exciting career opportunities and excellent preparation for further studies, or as well as things like medicine, dentistry, or pharmacy. Again, like the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, students in the Faculty of Science have lots of opportunities to combine different majors or minors throughout the degree, as well as actually incorporate, a minor or a major from another area, say a second major in computer science, for example. Most majors will offer that general education, general education, and then the opportunity to specialize through things like co-op or honors, or research. There's lots and lots of opportunities for research within the Faculty of Science, and a really great opportunity for students who are thinking about maybe going on and doing a master's or further study. Research can be a great thing to get started in your undergraduate degree. We offer co-ops through many of our majors, and like I said, research are some of the other opportunities for experiential learning. And like art students, there are supports like Career on Track and Career Services, which can help you plan out your next steps. Of course, if you're interested in something like medical school, the Bachelor of Science Medical Sciences is a really great program and preparation for that, but it's not the only pathway to med school. So if that is your ultimate goal, then make sure that you connect with one of us either today or in the future to talk more about those options. In terms of career opportunities, lots and lots of opportunities here as well. As you can see, it might be our longest list. Some of these are options that you could go on to, straight out of the undergraduate degree, whereas some you'll see like pharmacist or psychiatrist, for example, would be needing further education. And then lastly, we have the College of Sustainability, which isn't a faculty in and of itself, but it does offer a major environment, sustainability, and society to students through the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Community Design, the Bachelor of Management, and the Bachelor of Science. Students may also be able to combine something like a minor in environment, sustainability, and society, or even a certificate in other programs as well. So what's great about this program is that it's interdisciplinary, and it's actually working to address a variety of issues. Students combine the environment, sustainability, and society major with another major in one of these 4 degree programs, so that they're getting kind of specialized area and maybe something like biology or history alongside of the environment, sustainability, and society major. Students can also, if they're in the Bachelor of Arts or the Bachelor of Science, they can complete co-op, which offers specific support for students and specific sort of hands-on training in those areas. In terms of future career options, it's really unlimited because, like I said, you're combining environment, sustainability, and society with another major in one of the specific degree programs. So you have lots of opportunities, but here's just a short list to give you a sense. All right. Now that we've talked about some of the faculties and opportunities for students for careers, let's chat a little bit about professional and graduate pathways. Like mentioned already, in some instances, you might be looking to go on and do further study. So maybe a master's or a PhD. Keep that in mind, especially if what you want to do requires that. Like if you want to be a university professor, if you want to be a doctor or something like that. So you want to make sure that you have the pathway kind of mapped out in terms of how to get where you want to go. you might need to actually do some upgrading or maybe an honors conversion. And so we have advisors in each faculty and each department to advise on what you might need for additional study. And then of course you can talk to us in admissions if you have any questions about how to go about that. When you're looking at admission requirements for professional and graduate programs, keep in mind that the admission requirements tend to be more comprehensive than most undergraduate programs. They can be looking at things like high academic performance, specific academic requirements, aptitude tests, or minimum years of university study before you apply. It's really important to do the research about what these requirements are early so that you can make sure that you're planning your undergraduate degree around that or incorporating them in somehow. Again, we have career supports for students that we can offer through your undergraduate degree. And often, med schools, law schools, and so on will have info sessions on this that you can attend to get more information. But keep in mind too, typically there's lots of pathways to get to a chosen professional program or career. Thinking specifically of things like medical school, law school, as well as things like dentistry or pharmacy. You just want to make sure that you are kind of talking to as many people as you can. If you know anyone who works in those fields, ask them lots of questions and do a lot of exploring, especially as you're looking at university now and as you're completing your undergraduate degree. Lastly, keep in mind that residency requirements could be in place for specific programs, especially if you're looking at health programs. So these residency requirements could be province specific, like within Canada, or they could be domestic versus international students. So keep that in mind as well. So here's a list of some of the professional and graduate programs that we have here at Dalhousie. It's not comprehensive because many departments actually offer further study at the master's or PhD level. So biology, English, for example. But these are some of the sort of extra opportunities for students. So hopefully that gave you quite an overview of the undergraduate programs that we have here at Dalhousie and how they can prepare you for different career outcomes, as well as looking at things like our professional and graduate programs. If you do have any questions, we're almost out of time, but if you do have any questions, then you can certainly connect with the folks in the virtual fair, learn a little bit more about each faculty, or even connect with an advisor through dal.ca/connect. So thanks everyone so much for joining. I hope that that gave you a better sense of what we have to offer here at Dalhousie. I know there's some questions here in the live Q&A. So Kim, do you have one that kind of could encapsulate a lot of different questions that we could answer quickly before we let folks go?
Yeah, well, there is a lot of interest in, of course, our professional programs. So we're looking at social work, pharmacy, eventually going into some programs like dentistry. Is there any specific program that you would recommend students consider as part of their first 2 years, or what they need for those requirements?
Yeah, I would say generally speaking, if you're planning to go on and do either a further professional program, then likely what you'll want to do is look at something like arts or science, which can give you a lot of flexibility. Typically, a lot of those other programs like the Bachelor of Science Nursing or the Bachelor of Health Sciences programs or Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Management, these are what we call terminal degrees, meaning that when you complete that degree, you can actually go right off into the workforce, right? That's the goal. That's the goal of those degree programs. Whereas with arts or science, these can provide a really good foundation if you're looking to go on and do further study. You can also, of course, get jobs once you've graduated with an arts or science degree, but they do provide a lot more flexibility if you're looking to go on and do further study, whether that's in medicine or social work, pharmacy, dentistry, whatever it might be. So I'd say that's kind of my last key piece of advice, since we will be signing off here shortly. But of course, myself, Kim, the other admissions advisors, and the folks in the different faculties, we're all here to help answer your questions and help make that a little bit clearer for you. So I'm sorry we didn't have time to get to everyone's specific question, but like I said, please reach out to us after, or head over to the virtual booth now to ask those questions. A lot of this research can also be done on your own. If you have a specific program that you're interested in, and especially if you have a specific school that you're interested in, you can just look that up on Google. Just type in, dal.ca/dentistry admissions, and you can find out a lot of the information there. And that will help you when it comes time to actually look at what undergraduate program do I want to study. So thanks, folks. Thanks for all your engagement. Thanks for the great questions. It's awesome to see that folks have, big plans for their future. And I hope that today's session and the rest of the open house has given you a better sense of how you can move forward with that. With that, we'll wrap it up. Thanks everyone for attending, and hope to see you in those different chat booths after. Thanks everyone. Thanks, Kim.